Going on, everyone? All right, we're going to be walking during a hot one. Right now it is 99 degrees, but it did hit 100. It hit 100 degrees at around 1 o'clock, 1:30. Right now, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on July 15th. It is 99 degrees. It dropped a degree thanks to, that is not clouds or haze, that is wildfire smoke from Canada. So we got it all. We got hot, we got the hot temps, we got the humidity, and we got this wildfire smoke going on, and you can smell it. It smells like a wildfire. By the way, the heat index is 109, so 99 degrees and 109, and if that sun comes back out full force, it'll probably touch 100 again. Right now, by the way, I didn't tell you, I am on 18th Avenue. This is not going to be one of those straight walks. We're going to probably walk around different areas. I think what we'll do is we're going to walk down here for a little bit, and we'll get onto New Utrecht Avenue. We'll get underneath the train tracks, and then I don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll stay under for a while, a long time, maybe all the way, or I have no idea. You guys are just gonna have to watch and find out. I don't know if I'm gonna put the route in the description, so maybe surprise all of you, see where we go. So this is a day you definitely want to be inside for so many reasons. If you have if you're one of those people that has respiratory issues, this is definitely not a good day to be outside. Because I can tell you, as a person that doesn't have respiratory issues, the wildfire smoke, you could definitely, it's affecting me. The way it's affecting me is definitely very chalky, dry throat. Gives you a nice raspy little throat. I do have my water on me, of course. I was going to go to, so here's what I was going to go to Coney Island. There were a couple of places I was going to go to today. But when the wildfire smoke moved in, I don't want to be going somewhere where the lighting is. Put it this way, I wanted to go down to the beach and with a nice bright and sunny day, you know, like nice big bright blue skies, hot sunshine, and just it's like, never mind, we'll save it now for another day. The heat wave has been with us since yesterday. Yesterday was 96. Today we've hit 100, and tomorrow is going to be around 95. We also have thunderstorms in the forecast all throughout the heat wave. But those won't be until later in the day. You can see all these people with umbrellas. Whatever you can do to try to cut down on the heat. Well, here's New Utrecht Avenue. Let's just go this way. So on the last walk, we were underneath the train tracks of the 7 line. And today, for as long as I'm going to be under here, we're going to be underneath the tracks of the D train. Somebody had asked me a while back if the Bath Beach Florist is still open and around. Yes, here it is. They are here. They're still open in business. The storefront always has its gates closed and stuff like that. But it's still in business. Also, there is a pretty good breeze out of the northwest today, so you may hear some wind at times going through my camera mic. There goes J-Mart. Got a car coming in right in front of me. Watch, right here. There you go. I saw it before I got past the construction partition. So we've had a It's July 15th. We've had a good number of heat waves up to this point. Heat waves in New York City are defined by any string of days 90 degrees Fahrenheit or above for 3 or more consecutive days. So that's how we define a heat wave, right? So if it's like 90 degrees just one day, or 95 degrees just one day, they don't consider that a heat wave, which is kind of silly because if you remember back when we had the last heat wave, I was talking about how the first 2 days the temperature was at 89, you know, it was kind of hot. And then we had the 90s and we had the 100-degree days. That was the 4th of July heat wave. That ended on the last day of the heat wave was 4th of July. And then this is a funny story. I had brought this up a couple of days ago. I had to go to the dentist today. And one of our first heat waves was back in May. And it was the week of May 20th. Whatever day May 20th. I think May 20th was a Wednesday. So that week we had a heat wave. That was our first heat wave of the year back in May. And I had to go to the dentist that day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was like 96 degrees. It was ridiculous. It was hot. So they had scheduled my next dental appointment for July 15th. And I had said back then, I said, no, it's got to be like 10 in the morning, just in case it's a hot day. I'll go in early. So what do you know? 2 months later, we're in another heat wave, and it was 100 degrees today. So, when I went to the dentist, it didn't matter. It was 10 in the morning. So at 10 in the morning, the temperature was 95. So it was the same temperature, basically, that I had to deal with 2 months ago. Only difference was where the sun was. So this right here is New Utrecht High School. Give you guys a look at the field here. Nice new field they have. Well, the field's not new. I would say this new field is not older than 10 years old. I remember when they were putting it down several years ago. I'm walking really slow today, so that's why I'm not rushing to get across the streets. The last time we were out in 100-degree weather, I walked pretty fast. I was when we were in Harlem for 99 degrees. I was also 99, and I was on one of my quick paces on that one. This one I'm walking slower because I'm not going to be going that far, so I'm trying to spend as much time out on this walk. Yeah, let's get onto this side. Let's check out this side. Laundromat. Bay Ridge Parkway. There goes Pastoz's. Very colorful Pastoz's. Pastoza. I had two people walking right behind me talking and stuff for like the last 2 blocks, and I was like, you know what, they're gonna walk another block behind me, so let me get across the street. These are the type of walks where, you know, it's so hot and I'm not really focusing on a route or anything. I'm just trying to navigate safely without getting hit by a car when I cross or bumping into people. And by the way, you could see the sun has just come out, and it is, as soon as that sun came out, it got really hot. So I wouldn't be surprised if the temperature just went back at 100 degrees. It'll be interesting to see what the area airports reported. The airports always report the craziest high temperatures. And that is because of, you know, the hot runway, the asphalt radiating the heat and retaining the heat, open space. Oh, this guy's filming. Just bang my water canister up against the camera if you heard that ding. Look at this person's really covered up, huh? So I guess these are the new barriers that are going up. These are what those tents are surrounding so that they could do the work. I mean, I'm not sure if that's the final product. This is the way they normally look. These are the old ones right here that have to be taken down and put up. I don't know. I like those better. Those look more aesthetic. Maybe that's just temporary, and then they put another layer over. '71st Street train station. Oh, by the way, you see the sign right here. There's been some train construction going on, train track construction going on the line. So today, well, all week, the Manhattan-bound trains have stopped running. There's no train to go to Manhattan right now. If you want to go to Manhattan between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. So you have to take a Coney Island train and transfer either for the N line if you're further down, or you got to go to Coney Island and come back. It's kind of crazy. And then there's no trains overnight on the Coney Island side, supposedly. It's crazy. A local key food here. All right, we're gonna come off of New Utrecht Avenue now and do some side streets for a little bit. Walking right into the wind. You can see the flags flapping away. That's a good indication how breezy it is right now. This is one of the worst winds you could have. This is a northwest wind, northwest to west wind, and it's bringing in all that smoke from Canada, but it brings up all that heat from the Midwest and the Southwest. I'm gonna have to get back across the street because the wind on this side is really bad. It's gonna ruin my it's gonna ruin the audio. That dog sounds like it needs some water. I apologize. If you guys are hearing wind, that's gonna be with us probably for the rest of the walk, unfortunately, because the way I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna turn and head back the other way, and the wind is coming in from that general direction for the rest of the walk. So if you want to know what the wind feels like, it is not refreshing. It feels like the wind you get when you open your oven on Thanksgiving Day. Right before you're about to take that turkey out, and you open that door and that big hot wind hits you. That's what it feels like. It is not refreshing, I'll tell you that. Lots of people walking their dogs.
You cannot go in there.
How close are we to 13th Avenue? Because I'm thinking we'll probably... You know what we'll get onto 13th Avenue and we'll walk back along 13th. We'll see what 13th Avenue is doing. We've been walking for almost 30 minutes. I know we had passed 16th Avenue, and then when you get to 71st Street, that's like 15th Avenue. That's what this might be here, either 15th or 14th Avenue. I don't even know which street we turned up. I wasn't paying attention. I do know it was a block from 71st, because that's where my sister used to live back in the day. She used to live on 71st. This is 14th Avenue. So we'll turn left onto 13th. You gotta wait for the light here. I tell you, once that sun came out, it got really hot. It's got the bunting. God bless America bunting. This guy over here is playing music out of his scooter. Speaking of scooters and electric scooters and all that, I witnessed yesterday one of the most gruesome e-bike accidents. And, man, I don't know how to say this. So I'm just going to say it. I don't like to be a phony about it. You know, I mean, you're either going to like what I'm going to say or you're not. And that's fine. That's okay. You know, I am who I am. So I did not feel bad about him. I didn't feel bad that he wiped out. And I'll tell you why. So on my bike path where I live, we have it's an epidemic. I mean, we have everybody and every kind of e-bike flying at 50, 60 miles an hour. Like it's a freaking road. You know, it's not supposed to, they're not supposed to be there, but we have a mayor that won't enforce it, just like he won't enforce removing homeless encampments over by the Intrepid and all that other stuff. And that's another story. The area by the Intrepid, thank God we went to the Intrepid when we did, because we got out of there a week earlier than all of the homeless encampments showed up. But anyway, nothing gets enforced. We had the people that got killed on the Queensboro Bridge. A week after that, on the Queensboro Bridge, a woman collided with somebody and she got hurt really bad and ended up in the hospital. You're having a lot of these people on the scooters just riding 50, 60 miles an hour, you know. So this guy flew right by me yesterday and almost hit me. And maybe about just a few seconds after he passed me, he hit a small, it wasn't even a pothole, it was a small little divot in the road. And you're going 60 miles an hour on a bike and you hit that divot, it's over, you know. Now he hit that, and he wiped, and he flew about 60 yards along the path, bike and everything, flying in pieces and everything. Last year on the bike path, somebody was hit and put into a coma, and the person took off and they never caught the person. So, you know, when I see these guys, you know, riding their e-bikes like motorcycles on a parkway, I don't really feel bad when they wipe out. So anyway, I was walking and he's getting up and he's all wobbly, and of course, regardless of how I feel, I had to ask her, I said, "You okay? You want me to call 911? And he just smiled at me. Like, I mean, okay, if you enjoy stuff like that, if you enjoy spilling like that and almost losing your life, I mean, what can I do?" So, kept on walking. But I will say this, his bike no longer worked. I never saw him pass by me the whole time. I kept looking. I kept looking behind me to see. He was working on the bike. I never saw him go by me. And this happens right by the 69th Street Pier, so I'm coming back all the way. And I never saw him go by me, so. There goes Crispy Pizza. That is my number one pizza joint right there. By the way, we are on 13th Avenue, I believe. We're definitely on 13th Avenue. This is my neighborhood, by the way, if anybody is wondering. If I don't know where I am, I definitely know where I am. We're in Dyker Heights. We were in Bensonhurst. And now we're in Dyker Heights. They've even named 13th Avenue Dyker Heights Boulevard. It's got like a ceremonial name, I guess. It looks like the smoke is starting to move in again. Sun is starting to dim out a bit. Speaking of the wildfire smoke, so we've had it for the last 2 days. And it's going to get worse, they said. Now, I don't know if it's going to be as bad as it was a couple years ago. If any of you are new to the channel, you should go into my channel and search for the 2 days I did 2 walks through the wildfire smoke a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and it looked like Mars. I mean, it was one of the most bizarre experiences in my life. I've never seen any of that in New York. I've seen that out west when I was in San Diego. It was like Mars. It was red, it was orange for 2 days. I filmed both of those days. I don't know if it's gonna get that bad. But they say tomorrow and Friday is gonna be worst. So we will see. We'll see what happens. Don't worry, I will be out filming it if that is the case. Look at this building. It's a newer building. Oh, I got an itch on my back. Oof. Luckily, I could reach it. What we will do is we'll walk this down over to Dyker Park. We'll walk through the park and see what's going on. We'll see how many people are in the park. Stopped at a light. We definitely had to stop for a couple of lights today. That guy the guy in front of us that just walked by carrying the beer, it just reminded me of something that happened the last time I saw somebody walking carrying it like that. Somebody was carrying it just like that, and it ripped right where he was holding it from the weight, and it hit the ground, and it was all a few cans that popped from the pressure. This is Tony's Pizzeria. I've had pizza here. It's not so bad. So the temperature on the funeral clock coming up is showing 101 degrees. You guys will see it when we get up there. Actually, does it say 104? Wow. Now, I will be honest, that temperature clock is a little generous. So, like I said, officially it did hit 100, and it might be 100 right now since the sun had come back out. But it says 104. I am going to stop and get a look at that. Looks like there's some people standing on the bus stop in front of the funeral home. They're about to get on the bus. I see a bus coming. $104 at Andrew Torregrossa Funeral Home. Well, before I show you guys the clock, I'll show you the after. Got B&A across the street, but there is the clock. So there it is, 228, 40 Celsius, 228, and that is going to show us the Fahrenheit, 104. So it is showing us 104. There goes the pork store. Put it this way, you know it's hot if that is showing 104, even if it's a little generous. So that is how hot it is. All right, here we go. Here goes La Bella Marketplace. I was recently over here for a storm walk, and I didn't notice it at the time because I was too busy filming, and I get tunnel vision, and I'm more concerned about keeping myself safe and stuff. But someone had pointed out to me, actually, a shout out to Angel Wings. She had mentioned this. She used to live in the neighborhood. They tore down the 2 houses that used to be over here. They must have just did this too, because I can't remember the last time I saw those homes. I know for sure the homes were there this year. Guarantee you that. I just can't remember the last time I saw them this year. But there were 2 homes here. It was one to the side, and there was a big one on the corner, and they tore them down over there. This home right here has been in this, I want to say, dilapidated state for the longest time. So if anything, you would think that this home would have got torn down already or renovated or what. It looks like it just has permits, so it looks like it is getting some construction. So it probably is getting a renovation. Speaking of scooters, this kid's going to karate class. He's a black belt. Look at that. He's at a black belt. I wonder if he could kick my ass. Oh, do I have a story? I don't like these stories. I don't like telling these stories, but they're stories of my life. There was a kid years ago. His name was Jose. Lived on 85th Street between 23rd and Bay Parkway. These kind of things you remember well because they stick with you for your life. And he was a quote-unquote black belt. And he would always flex, which tells you a couple things. Number one, if you're a black belt, you know better not to flex. I mean, it's not about being offensive, it's about being defensive. And you're supposed to have discipline when you're a martial arts person. So anyway, he would flex a lot and he would talk crap and thought he was the, I guess, the shit. Speaking of flags here, I was talking about flags flapping in the wind. There's a whole bunch here at St. Bernadette. Give you guys a look at St. Bernadette real quick. Beautiful church. So speaking about Jose, there goes Tasty Pastry over there. So anyway, long story short, I don't want to drag it on, but I had, a cousin, two cousins that lived right on the corner at the time on 84th and 23rd, right across from St. Mary's. And I had been just maybe a couple of years moved into this neighborhood, but I would skateboard and I would skate down to 23rd Avenue and hang out with my cousins all the time. Anyway, one day I get a phone call, and it's my cousin Scott, who is a little bit older than Henry, my cousin Henry. He's like, Vinny, he says, Jose hit Henry. Now, just so you know, Henry and Scott, they're younger than me and Jose. Me and Jose were the same age. At the time, I was 15 years old. And Scott and Henry were like 12. And apparently, he hit my cousin. I don't know what was going on or whatever, but I got on that skateboard. I don't even remember how I got there. I was hot. This is the years when I was a bad kid. I'll just say that. Put it that way. I was a street guy. I was a street kid. We walked around. We had fights and stuff. Let's just put it that way. So I was hot. I didn't give a shit that this guy had a black belt. He was about to find out that a black belt don't mean nothing. So I get down there with the skateboard, and there's my cousin Henry with a lump on his forehead. He didn't just hit him, he kicked him. So I'm like, that's it, we're going. So it's me, my cousins, and we're walking to his house. And as we're walking to the house, just as we're getting past the St. Mary's School on the 23rd Avenue side, he comes walking down the block, crossing the street. And just to get a little background here, Father Paul, he was the head priest at St. Mary's. He's standing out there saying hello to people. So maybe this kid thought, nothing's gonna happen. The priest is here. He ain't gonna do nothing in front of the priest. And he's coming down the street. He's coming towards me, and he's looking at me, and he tries this, "Hey, Vinny, how you doing?" and goes to shake my hand. And I put out my left hand. Anybody knows better, you don't shake an Italian's left hand because that means a right hand is coming right after. He grabbed that left hand. So picture this, my left hand onto his left hand. So now I'm on his left side and he's fully exposed. And I just gave him right hand haymakers. I must have hit him about 7-8 times before he went down on his knees and he was begging to stop, and Father Paul was getting in between us. And that was it. I'll tell you, he never flexed ever again, and he never touched my cousins ever again. But I'll never forget the voice. It was like Father Paul had like that voice from God. I heard, Vincent. And I stopped hitting him. That's really what stopped it. I mean, I probably would have kept hitting him. He was down on his knees and I was still hitting him. He couldn't do anything. He had no way of... He couldn't block. His right hand was on the other side of his body. I had him on the left side. So he was totally exposed. He couldn't do anything. I was still holding his hand, by the way. You got to remember, I'm holding his left hand really tight. And he's trying to pull that left hand out. And I'm holding it. And, yeah, that was it. That was the end of that. Black belt. They are playing softball here. Usually it's like the fire department or the police department. You know that it's hot when there is nobody playing soccer. I'm going to take you guys through the park. We're going to walk through the park here. Unfortunately, sadly, someone was murdered here 2 weeks ago. Yes. First murder in Dyker Heights in years. And it was a fight that started between a group of Mexican people, and both of them pulled out knives and it turned into a knife fight and one person died. The cops have been patrolling here like crazy ever since. There is nobody in the park. Obviously very hot. There's a sprinkler down there. I see a girl running through a sprinkler. Oh, let's see if he catches it. Let's see if he catches it. Yep. That's an out. Here are the bocce ball courts that used to be filled with old Italian guys playing bocce ball. Not anymore. There still is bocce ball players here, but it's nothing compared to what it used to be. I mean, you would come, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, you live in Dyker Heights, man, you just come down to these bocce courts, and both of them would be filled up with guys playing bocce ball starting at like 7 in the morning all the way till sunset. It's crazy. And I'll tell you when it all stopped. When it all stopped was the COVID lockdown. That was the last time you saw people coming here. I haven't seen, I mean, nowadays, you know, every few days you'll see people playing. There's some old guys playing there, but all the regulars are long gone. There is not one person playing soccer. This is constantly filled up with people playing soccer all day, every single day, all day. So that's how you know it's hot out here. I'm about to check the temperature here in a second. Give me a second here. I'll give you guys a current temperature check. We're about to end the walk. I'm going to end it over on Cropsey Avenue. It is 100 degrees. Heat index 111. So there you go. So if you remember, I said earlier when we started the walk it was 99, but it had hit 100 earlier in the day. And it was 99 degrees, and now it's back up to 100. Heat index is 111. That heat index, as bad as that sounds, is not as bad as it's been. We had, on 4th of July, our heat index was 117. And I was out in that filming the boats and the ships and everything for like hours. "117-degree heat index is just, it's just doesn't even sound real." All right, we're going to wrap this up. We will get onto that side of the street since there is some housing out over there we can look at. I think that's a kid that flew by us on 13th Avenue on the scooter. It is, I think. Summer school. See kids getting on the school bus. Here we go. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. When I get inside, I am going straight into the shower. This goes to show you how much space this school had for a schoolyard. You see this schoolyard here? This is pretty much the original schoolyard, still in its configuration. But if you see that building over there, that's the new school building, and they built that on the other side of the schoolyard that is now on the Bay 7th Street side. I had a friend that lived across the street, and we would sit and be able to look right across into the park here from his house, which you can't anymore, obviously. But this is one of those rare instances where they build an extra building and they're able to keep the schoolyard intact. Most of the time they use the entire schoolyard to build the new skill building, and then what they do is they build like a rooftop gymnasium or something, or a rooftop schoolyard or something like that. Like my nephew's a teacher over on Bay 14, and they have like a rooftop schoolyard. And yes, it is safe. They have a big cage. There's no way no one's falling over the roof. I know someone's probably like, "Isn't that dangerous?" They have a big cage. It's like being in a bird cage, really. That's what we call it. We call it the bird cage. Here's my water. I have not taken one sip of this water yet. I really don't need to. I'm going to be walking inside my house in a few moments. I want to thank everybody for taking this walk through 100-degree weather. Most of the time it was 99, but we're back at 100 right now. You guys got to see that temperature clock over at the funeral home at 13th showing 104. It's getting even hotter, man. This sun is really starting to come out now. It looks like the sky's really cleared up. Looks like all the smoke went away. So now the sun is just baking me right now. It's like slow rotisserie over here. Even the traffic, you notice there's no traffic. 14th Avenue is a pretty busy road. So not a lot of traffic on the road. Everyone's inside. I wonder if anybody is brave enough to be playing golf today. I don't see anybody playing golf out there. This right here closer to us is the junior golf course, so no kids are out here. But further down, I can see there's nobody playing golf. I don't see anybody out there. You would see people out there on the greens. Italian flag. This is the last Italian stronghold of Brooklyn. It may not be on Mayor Mamdani's map, but we're here. I want to thank everybody for tagging along, and I'm going to end it here on Cropsey. And I will catch you all on the next one. So stay cool and talk to you later. Bye-bye.